You can't never just start at 9 o'clock with technology, man. Tell my son rotate the. Hold on, let me fix it real quick, guys. Tell my rotate the screen. The screen was rotated. It was already rotated. I just had to click in and click out, and it just aggravated me. What's good, everybody? What's good? Let me join the control room. Going through it. Always going through it. We always going through it. Something, not something wrong with my control room. Not something wrong with my control room. Like that. Yes, we are live. Yes, let me see if my control room will come back to normal. YouTube, what are you doing? Why my control room ain't working? Well, my control room working. Why my live chat ain't working? Now I can't see my live chat. That's a problem. Maybe it is. Let's see. Let me close that out. And then let me do this. Let me troubleshoot something real quick. Let's troubleshoot while it's loading up. Let me go to where is it? Videos, tools. There we go. Disclaimer. YouTube Studio. Go in here. As I'm setting up. That's like my favorite part, right? Setting up. Then I did not put my glasses on, guys. Y'all just gonna let me do that? Yes, I see that. Let me see. And nope, my live chat is not working. You know what? It's just gonna be one of them days I see with YouTube. Something went wrong. Yeah, we see that. Something went wrong. Now I'm gonna have to catch all my live chats right here. Hopefully my person don't come today, because this is gonna be a long day in this chat. Disclaimer: the videos presented here are for informational purposes only, and therefore, if you are to choose to attend an institution, please do your own research and consult with a specialist at the institution you are interested in. I am not a financial aid specialist, academic advisor, or representing any institution. Speaking on behalf of Creator, Henry is only speaking from his experience. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. All right. So the first topic, well, first, how was your day? That's the first question. How was your day? Hope your day is well, or it was going well, or it went well. Yeah. So, first segment. I don't know if I put, yeah, colleges are hoarding money. I thought I was too close to that camera for y'all. Colleges are hoarding money. So, this is nothing new, 21, nothing new. Like, well, I guess it's new to be on camera, like them hoarding money. It's always been are y'all holding money? Do they got more money than they should or should have? Apparently they do. And so, let me make sure y'all can hear me too. Yeah, okay. Where is it? Right here. So right here, per Chronicle Higher Education, it says the cash clash. So it said expect public colleges to face tough questions about the cash they are carrying. That was reported by the Chronicle's Dan Bumman. I think Bumman or Baham. If I said the last name right. Yeah, I think I said it right. No, Dan Baum. That's how you say it. Dan Baum. That's who reported it. It says Connecticut lawmakers were shocked that a state college system had a whopping 260 days of cash on hand as of last summer. The Connecticut State College and University Systems reserves total almost 1.1 billion. Half of it stalked away in the last 5 years. That's crazy. And then somebody right here, Tammy New Cecile. I think Tammy New Cecile. They are a Republican, according to the Connecticut Mirror. They said the General Assembly has been swindled. So, as I said before, Dan Baum had reported this. Like, expect colleges to face tough questions. I'm gonna go to that article right quick for us because this is interesting, right? This is very interesting. So I was looking at it, as I like to do. I always like to read the top line. It's called Amid Volatility and Uncertainty, Should Colleges Spend Down Their Slurpus, pretty much. So right here it starts off, the University of Connecticut has no shortage of unknowns to manage as it heads into the fall. It says, like, when they wrote this back on August 11, 2025. So it was like 2 days ago. It says, like much of higher ed, these past 7 months, the university was caught off guard and buffeted by an onslaught of funding cuts, right? As we were talking about, policy changes at the federal level, partially contributing to an anticipated $134 million budget deficit at the end of the 2025-2026 fiscal year, or around 5% of the combined annual operating expenses for UConn and its health system. And the recent expiration of UConn's collective bargaining contracts with represented faculty and staff, as reported by the Hartford Business Journal last month, has only contributed to stress levels of the university employees and students. As I tell you guys, everything trickles down to the employees and the students. Everything bothers the students a lot. When you think something's not going to hurt you as a student or bother you as a student, it's going to bother you as a student. So right here it said, in response, UConn moved to freeze spending and is considering job cuts. I believe we spoke on that before about UConn, because I was talking about a lot how their girls basketball team and their males basketball team have a very good basketball program. But apparently they don't have good management of their funds. So I'm not surprised by that, right? So as that, let's go back to our main thing. We're talking about the cash clash. It says, but what is the line between hoarding and fiscal prudence? So, and prudence is, I just read it. I was reading a book. Prudence is about wisdom, and fiscal prudence. So I'm assuming like fiscal wisdom. Yeah, I got it still up here. So like, yeah, wisdom, judgment, yeah. So like fiscal judgment or wisdom. It says cash reserves serve many purposes, hedging against the kinds of financial blows that are hammering higher ed right now, funding construction projects. So I'm gonna start with there, hammering higher ed, like blows that are hammering higher ed right now. So having that cash reserve on hand essentially is helping, once we get more into it, it's been helping, at least right now. I believe we read Connecticut so far. Whoever has that much money on hand, who has the 1.1 billion. Yeah, it says the Connecticut State College and University Systems reserves total almost 1.1 billion. So Connecticut got 1.1 billion. What are they using it for? We don't know. But they're getting hit like every other university, right? Well, not university, but states are being hit, or the schools inside these states are being hit. So if your funding got to like 100 million, 200 million, that cash reserve, that should easily cover, 1.1 billion can easily cover 100 million. So what are they doing with the money? That's what we're speculating, right? But they're saying, like, could it be used for what's going on now? Like all these blows by the Trump administration or the Department of Education, stripping away funds, what's going on? So it says that money could go toward funding construction projects. It's pretty good. It always said currying favor with lenders who are willing to offer a lower interest rates for borrowers with high liquidity. Not sure. For my financial people out there, they probably would know what that means. At least in a higher education perspective. I believe it's the same vice versa in like banking. Because when I hear lenders and borrowers, usually it's like banking. So like favor, like currying favor with lenders. So yeah, favor with lenders who are willing to offer lower interest rates. So like I said before, usually your college works with a bank known as a lender or some type of lender. It could be a private lender. So if they want to get lower interest rates, they can, I guess, cut a deal with that money per se. Not 100% accurate, but they mentioned a little bit about it. Public colleges have drawn, disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. So public colleges have drawn political scrutiny for saving too much and too little over the years. Too much in Wisconsin. In 2013, Governor Scott Walker, a Republican, called the University of Wisconsin system leaders educational crooks for holding a reported $1 billion in cash reserves. Cash reserves. The governor, Scott Walker, Republican, called the University of Wisconsin system leaders, University of Wisconsin system leaders, educational crooks. Like, they be coming politics, so people with like these type of government jobs, man, they come hard in the paint. He called them educational crooks, coming hard. He said for holding a reported $1 billion in cash reserves. The system had 147 days of cash on hand at the time. That was down to 90 last year. They said enrollment declines have hit the system's regional campuses. As I say, regional schools. Not when they say regional, that's different from like a local state school, keyword local, that's in the city. But regional state schools, they feeling it. So enrollment declines have hit the system's regional campuses. And like I said before, why are these schools paying like a regional campus? I wish they'd name some regional schools, for example. Because these schools that are regional campuses probably got presidents and execs, once again, or college football coaches or whatever, making close to millions, if not $500,000, if not $250,000. Like, and I'm all for you making like capped out 250. I feel like that should be for every institution. And then if you can't even afford 250 at a certain institution, if you're like a lot smaller, you don't need to be getting 250. You probably need to get like 120, as a president or a exec. Because if enrollment is declining, that means you're not having enough students bring in money, because that is expected revenue. And if you don't have the expected revenue coming in, why are y'all increasing your pay? Once again, this is why they're in the situation they are in now. I think they're lucky that the Trump administration / Department of Education doesn't really fully understand that broken structure of pay. Because I feel like they would have hit that too, because that just don't make no sense. Or they know, or they could know and just don't care, but it doesn't make any sense. Several of which reported a handful of days cash on hand or less. The system has been working to close several satellite locations. All right, and too little in Arizona 2 years ago. That's funny, 2 years ago, 2023. The University of Arizona said it had 149 days. The University of Arizona had said it had 149 days of cash on hand, comfortably above a required 140. So you're supposed to have required 140 of cash on hand. And then it said, but imprecise budgeting processes and a big deficient blew up the picture. This summer, dang. This summer, Arizona, the University of Arizona, this summer has an estimated of just 77 days of cash on hand. Wowza. That's only like 30, depending on the month how it fall, but 30, 60. That's only like 2.5-ish months, maybe. And then it said a new administration says replenishing the reserves could take more than a decade. So if you go to the University of Arizona, be careful. I don't know what can happen to you if you go to the University of Arizona and they don't have cash on reserves, because it can hurt the students, it can hurt the employees. I know for sure employees can lose their job, for sure. Because if they don't have the cash on hand to pay you and hold you over, that means potentially you're on the chopping block of losing your job at the University of Arizona. Students, I don't know what to say, because anytime a school doesn't have the funds or cash on hand, usually they are raising tuition prices, raising dorm prices, raising meal plan prices. Everything is going up to you as a student or a parent or guardian. So, FYI, I'm just saying, I'm speculating right now that University of Arizona, saying it right now in 2025, August 13th, University of Arizona, unless they get some state funding, some local funding, or some type of funding to help them out, they are going to be in a rough patch. Which means, how does this affect you as a student? Which means your professors, you could probably have less professors. When you have less professors, that means you can have you have a less chance of them reaching out to you. You might be working with a student more. I know bigger schools like have teacher assistants. So something to keep in mind, because they say it could take a decade to fix. But it says right here, reserves that look big on paper often do not go far in a budget crunch. Once again, reserves that look big on paper often do not go far in a budget crunch. The University of Connecticut, which known as UConn, which isn't part of the CSCU system. It's not part of the Connecticut system, college university system. It's not part of that. That's crazy. Is University of Connecticut private? I don't think they're private. I don't think. Let's Google. Right here. Thank you for doing that, computer. Let's check that out. No, I ain't trying to go YouTube. I appreciate my computer going fast. Like and subscribe. This is how we do this. The University of Connecticut, that's crazy. They're public. They're a public land grant research institution or university system, but they're not part of the. They're not part of the Connecticut. What is it called? They're not part of the Connecticut State College and University system. It's interesting. It's very interesting. So what are they part of? Let's keep reading. It's interesting. So, the University of Connecticut, which is not part of the CSCU, counted $665 million in cash reserves in June 2024. Its leaders have said they will use some of the funds to plug a projected $134 million budget deficient this year. But they nonetheless moved to freeze spending and consider job cuts. Because we talked about that before with UConn. And I wonder, like, they have these cash reserves on hand, but once again, we never know what they can do with this money. They can say one thing or do another. Because remember, we don't have nobody policing these institutions, first and foremost. We need to keep that in mind. Nobody is policing these schools. Nobody is telling these schools what they can spend and what they cannot spend. So I always keep that in mind. They might say this is for this and for that, for this. But deep down, I just know, like, because they have a great sports program and for the girls and for the boys, that I wouldn't be surprised if they use a small allocation of like 50 million or 30 million for, like, special NILs going on, like, for things of that nature. Because, like they said, oh, it doesn't look big. Just because it look big on paper, it doesn't mean it can last in crunch time or real life situations. That makes no sense. If it's a big number on paper, that means a big number if you manage it correctly. It does. I don't confuse budgeting and finance. I think finance is a fancy word for I don't have money. So I came up with something called finance to have money, even though I don't have money, if that makes sense. Because finance makes no sense. That's why I didn't major in it. But it makes sense, of course, when you get deeper into it. You got the people who actually can work it. But to me, finance, that makes sense to me. And it makes sense. The math does, but the finance and the way people use it don't make sense. So more budget crunches seem on their way. as we talked about before, states are likely to be choosing between cutting. States are likely to be choosing. So check this out. Since more budget crunches, I think they're talking about states. So let's keep going. But they're saying states. So you're in Georgia, Florida, or Minnesota. If you're in what's another one, Texas, or if you're in California, states are likely to be choosing between cutting Medicaid or higher ed funding because of changes Congregational Republicans made in the federal One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And if you've been following us and watching us, we've been talking about that One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And it says state leaders have in the past chosen to protect Medicaid. So this is not good for higher ed because people, it really depends on who is your governor per se in that state and what they are going to choose to cut. Because if you're, no, not even exaggerating, if it's a Republican, they're most likely going to cut. I'm not even going to exaggerate. They're going to cut Medicaid if it's a Republican. I believe they will. Now, your Republican can be different. They could protect it and keep it. It's a lot of more answers into that, and I'd love to hear it in the comment section. Or they'll cut higher ed. They'll say, well, higher ed on their own. We trying to return higher ed back to the states, and this is what we want to do. So this is going to get ugly before it gets pretty. So it says right here, Connecticut colleges may be a sign of what is to come. The state's financial forecast is bleak. And when I hear bleak, I feel like it's like that's another word for blank. So what does bleak mean? Bleak, lacking vegetation and exposed to the elements. Of course, you give me that definition. Exposed, stark, and I got another one, cold, can, raw, harsh. So I'm gonna say they use the word bleak. So I'm gonna say it's clear to see, I guess. It's exposed. But lawmakers are cutting back from pandemic era appropriation levels. We talked about that too. We got the data from SHIO. I wish I could have showed you guys because I easily would have clipped that and used that part. But of course I don't have the setup yet to do that. And so SHIO though has showed us a trend of like states like I don't think that's the word, deallocating, but pretty much taking funds away and allocating it. I don't know where they're allocating it, but they're taking state funds. The state funds are not going toward higher ed as much. They're being taken away. Usually not all funds go toward higher ed. They, a certain percentage is allocated toward higher ed. So, but since the pandemic, when the pandemic happened, it was really heavy. But ever since the post-pandemic, it's just been going down year by year, slowly going down, slowly going down. And when you have your state not helping, at least at college and higher ed, when your state is not helping in higher ed, guess what that does for you as a student or parent or guardian? You're going to have to pay more prices at the college because how else is the college going to get their money? And then that's where we speculate or we believe that some colleges will be closing. So I know it's not like I really care right now, but students should be mindful if they are in schools that are like, prime example, are schools that are in the middle of nowhere. If you're in a school that's the middle of nowhere and it doesn't really have, like, they're not passing on things like credibility, they don't have accreditation, they're not meeting certain criterias, that school's on the verge of shutting down. You just don't know it, which could be bad for you because you never know if the school is like a church school, like we talk about, which means like the school might be heavily religious, but some credits don't transfer from heavy religious schools, especially if they're private. And so that can make it hard for you to transfer and put you in a limbo. So like that's what we mean by like there potentially is a higher ed bubble, because students can be affected. Like if you're just going to school on a whim, like my favorite is to talk about the athletes. I know a lot of athletes that just go to college because they want to keep playing ball. They don't really pay attention of the credibility of the school. Like even when I say credibility, like the National Junior Association, that's like National Junco Association, right? You at least want to go to schools like that if you're going to play Junco sports, like 2-year sports, for example. And then if you go to these bigger schools, like not even bigger, if you go to bigger than a junior college, you at least want to make sure what it's not a school. It's a school that could transfer to another school, because certain southern schools are all under the same accreditation. Some schools that are like, in another area that's up north, they're in the same accreditation. So you really want to be mindful before you just go to school on the whim. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. We are cooking right now. And so they said, what else they said? Governor Ned Lemon, if I said it right, a Democrat, or Governor Ned Lamont, a Democrat. Let me look them up. Ned Lamont. I don't know why I said Lamont, because the way I be flowing sometimes, I feel like it's not pronounced like that. Ned Lamont. Is an American politician, Democratic Party. Right. So, Governor Ned Lamont, a Democrat, urged the state's colleges to use that cash to soften. Governor Ned Lamont, a Democrat, urged the state colleges to use that cash to soften the transition to the new financial reality. Sure enough, the system has voted to release $162 million of reserves for operations. So, and just to make sure, Connecticut State Colleges, he is the governor for Connecticut. All right, to make sure I'm tracking that right when I'm reading it. All right, yeah, he's the governor. So he told the state colleges to use that cash to soften the transition to the new financial reality. Because yesterday, some people, I think it was somebody from ACE, said that a lot of schools are just hoping that, like, when this administration leaves, that they can go back to normal. And I ain't the biggest, like I said, I ain't the biggest number person, but that ain't possible. In no world that would be possible. Like, this is going to be, for one, this is a historical change in higher education. So it's going to be a lot different. I think it opens up a window of, like, change, because they've been on broken rules and laws for so long that they just didn't care until now. And it says right here, the bigger questions: do college leaders have the flexibility and foresight to spend reserves in a way that will position campuses for sustainable operations in the future? No. I'm saying no to that. And I can't even put it in the chat, because the chat ain't working for some reason. The chat is not working today. But you probably can still comment. I just can't say nothing on my end. But no, sustainable operations in the future is too much. I have people in the chat who even say, like, less people are going to college right now. According to iPads, college is not at all-time lows, like enrollment, but it's down. Hey, G, it's down. And so if you just factor in so many things, I've been pretty good. How about you? If you factor in so many things about what's going on in higher ed, like prices are too high. The value of education is down. Like, people don't even feel like you should go to college, which we're going to talk about with my man Warren Buffett. So it's too many or too much just not going in the favor of higher ed. Like, I'm really thinking on we gonna see buildings getting tore down at some schools. Like, some dorms gonna be shrinking, pools gonna be getting closed, or they're gonna have to restructure it, take pool amenities out, because that pool gotta get clean. That pool has to be maintained. Like, you think about it, they have lifeguards on duty. Just naming things, like, right? How many lifeguards do you have on duty? That's students you're paying. Like, they're gonna have to really start. They're going to have to go, like, they did all this expanding, and we read it yesterday at one college. What's that college called? Monmouth College. I think that's the college we reviewed. Monmouth College. Monmouth College, one person, he works in the English department. He was like, we was just expanding. We didn't really think about the future Of like, I'm like, how you not think about the future? And then, you know, me and G talked about that yesterday, which is funny. But how you not think about the future and what the future generation might cherish? Like, do I think the next decade of humans would cherish the same things we cherish? No, no, maybe. I don't know, maybe. So, yeah, the operations in the future, the only thing they're going to prioritize when they start doing this, when they're prioritizing operations, they're just going to prioritize their sports. If you ask me, they want to prioritize their sports. They're not going to prioritize, shout out to my university. They're not going to prioritize what you think they should. I'm being very pessimistic on this one. They're not going to do that. I'm bearish on that. I would short that fast because that's not going to look good. And so, or then it says right here, or are they just kicking the can down the road, putting off hard choices for a year in hopes the state funding will rebound? I don't know. Will state funding rebound? I don't know. It depends. Literally, it depends on the human who is the governor. It depends on them. So unless they slide it out to somebody else who can help, I don't know. But as far as I know, America don't care about education. So, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's go to Gen Z is ditching college for trade jobs. I found that, I think I saw that on LinkedIn, and that was very interesting to me. I was like, what? We just talked about that too, trade jobs. Just talked about that. I really can't see my chat, but it's okay. I can pull it up right here. If anybody comment, I can still pull it up. I'm not even tripping. So right here, it's written by Fortune. Never heard of Fortune? This is written by Fortune. It says Gen Z is ditching college and taking up secure trade jobs. But new data, they said new data shows office admin jobs are still safer, more stable, and less deadly. I'm gonna be honest with you. Not people nowadays got admin, man. They got us going outside. At least me, when I work admin, they got me going outside, unloading trucks, doing all this extra stuff. I'm always going above and beyond, and I never get no. You know what? You didn't have to do that, and you did it. Respect. And G said, tech giving you the blues today. I see. Oh, man, tech is, yeah. Like, I can't. I'm gonna have to scroll like on my phone just to see what you said, G. That's gonna be a long day. So take it easy on me in the comment, because at first the phone would rotate when I was trying to do the live screen. It was like rotated, and I was like, it is rotated. Like, we go through this, like, then the live screen not working. It do that sometimes. I believe that's just a YouTube thing. You know, as long as you can hear me and see me clear, I'm good. G said, when I was working admin, I had to run errands, but never unload a truck. Yes. Like, before we even get in this, they think that, like, jobs are being so cheap nowadays that they don't want to pay for people. They don't want to pay for extra people. We were on the 13th floor, though. Oh, that's terrible. Like, yeah, I learned how to work a dolly. I think I mentioned this before. I learned how to work a dolly. Other things that wasn't in different jobs, but definitely at my job, using a dolly, and I work a desk job. Like the last job I just worked, I was using a dolly. I was loading up trucks, loading up vans, unloading, packing up bins. I hate doing that. Oh my goodness, it's taking me back right now. I was working, and I didn't like it because it kept taking me away from my desk, which didn't make sense, because how I'm gonna do desk work if I'm constantly away from my desk? That didn't add up. So I think we have a oh, that's just saying we want to listen to the article. Be ready to this. This was written by Oriana Rosa Roll. She is a associate editor, success. This was written August 5th, 2025 and posted at 9:28 a.m. G said, well, I learned to use that stuff growing up. I ain't no city slicker, lol. Yeah, cause them kids, man. Like I said, no disrespect to the no disrespect to the Georgia Tech students, but they did not know how to work a dolly. They did not know how to work a dolly, man, and I was just like, not me, not me. So Gen Z is ditching college for more secure trade jobs. But building inspectors, electricians, and plumbers actually have the worst unemployment rate. I did not know that. They put a citation in here. Let me see where it's going to take us. Let's see where they get their information from. Let's see where she got her information from before we just keep. But she said right here that inspectors, building inspectors, and electricians and plumbers have the worst unemployment rate. I wonder why. And she got this from, did she quote herself on herself? Let me see. No, this is a different one. But she did quote herself on the research she did do before. It took us to another one of her articles. And so, yeah. Meanwhile, jobs in logging, hunting, fishing, and... okay, so hold up. Meanwhile, jobs in logging, hunting, fishing, and refuse have... oh, and refuse? I guess that's a job. Refuse? Is refuse a job? I never heard of refuse as being a job. And refuse have high fatality rates. Fatality rates. Logging, hunting, fishing, and refuse have high fatality rates. So G said, I can actually see why that may be the case. As far as a trade unemployment rate goes, how often do people actually get work done? I really don't know. I never really thought about that. I don't know. I know my dad, when he truck drived, he'll get them loads done. My uncle, he works in Georgia, I think it's called, it was called the Waterworks or something like that. I think it's called Georgia Columbus Waterworks in the city I'm from. But I don't know if they get these stuff done. You got me thinking, I don't know. And so new research has revealed the safest jobs that millions of unemployed non-grad Gen Z could apply for instead. Truck driving, when your dad was doing it is very different now. Yeah, they be working them like crazy now. Like, they be working them like crazy. New research has revealed the safest jobs that millions of unemployed non-grad Gen Z could apply for. Let's look at some of the safest jobs, G. Truckers in my family are scrapping by the scan of their teeth getting jobs. Wow. So you're saying trucking is oversaturated? So if Ariana, this person who wrote this article, if they quote themselves one more time, it's a race to the bottom at this point as far as bids for loads go. Oh wow. Okay, she just keep quoting herself. Like every article that's highlighted, and I'm trying to go see the fact check, 100% oversaturated. Oh wow, that's not good. Like, she just keeps quoting herself. I can't even look at it. And it better not took me out of my other one I'm reading. I'm gonna be upset. So we can look at the millions of unemployed. We can look at the safe jobs that Gen Z could apply for instead. But G said, and then you have to also think about if the price to load even worth it. Yeah, I don't know much about the trucking business, but yeah, that is something to think about. To load it and then deliver it and see how much you get paid and on the way back. Yeah. Oof. Truckers. But then it says right here, Gen Z are ditching degrees in droves. Gen Z are ditching degrees in droves. That's what they say, in droves, and landing trade jobs. They are finding themselves in six-figure careers that tap into their desires for more travel and less time at a desk, without any student debt. So I've been hearing that. A lot of people have been saying that they don't like sitting at a desk. Who was I just talking to? I was just talking to somebody military wise. They were active duty and they plan on getting out. And then they were like, I was like, so what you plan on doing when you get out? And they said, do dental hygiene, if I'm not mistaken. And so they were like, I don't like, because we're about the same age. They were like, I don't really like sitting down. So I need to be moving and grooving. She must be the authority on what she is writing about, LOL. Or she's conceited. She gotta be. Like, everything she fact checks on her data, it's her. And I'm like, that's not factual. Because you can't. I'm gonna be honest. School 101, you could quote yourself, but you can't do it that much. You can't do it that much. At least by grad school, you can't. And that's not a good look because it's very one way of viewing. And G said, I would actually push back and say that differs based on income level. Growing up as far as desk jobs versus no desk jobs. Yeah, cause they saying what I read. She said Gen Z are ditching degrees, and so they're finding themselves in 6-figure careers. That's only a certain few. I would love to see, like I said, she ain't really provide that much data on that part of the percentage of that. I think it depends on what you are in theory used to seeing. But not all that glitters is gold. Many of these jobs come with risk of their own. Let's see. Take wind turbine technicians, for example. It was the fastest growing job in the U.S. last year. She got a citation on that, but let me see. Let me see what that leads to. Okay, this one's somebody else. There's 2 other people. They wrote this back in September 13th, 2024. These are the nation's fastest growing jobs, and many pay $100K. So I didn't read it yet or look into it if it lets me. I'm not subscribed to it. But it says it was the fastest growing job in the U.S. last year and does not require a degree. But the work is far from easy. Technicians face extreme weather. They haul 50 pounds of gear and climb tall ladders into tight spaces. Despite the buzz, the safest non-degree role is still at a desk. Research by Eugene Hardware, if I said it right, analyzed jobs based on fatal injury rates, projected openings 2023 to 2033, median wages and education requirements, and coming in at number 1 is office admin and support roles. That makes sense. Like we can't keep saying this. Like we can keep saying it. I'm gonna say we can't, but in the next years, I know G gonna have some pushback. In the next years, I'm not saying desk jobs, but just liberal arts with the growing constant of technology. Not gonna lie, that still totally makes sense to me as well. Oh, I thought you would have some pushback. Because liberal arts, you know me, liberal arts, gotta be strong on the liberal arts. Normally when you have an office and admin job, you just pretty much talking to people. I am gonna push back. Usually you're gonna be talking to people, working with people, just constant collaboration, unless you really have a traditional desk office/desk job like me. And so G said, if you move too far into the future, and so number 1 is office admin and support roles. They said these roles offer lower physical risk, consistent demand, and decent salaries, making them especially appealing for Gen Zers looking for stability without a degree. Now, saying not needing a degree is crazy though, because some of them, I would say half, like these desk jobs, they looking for associate's degree. They looking for an associate's degree. Because I applied, like my last job, did not require a bachelor's degree. It required a associate's degree. Now it did pay better than jobs requiring bachelor's degrees, of course, but like that last job I applied to was the one I was working at Georgia Tech, only required associate's degree. And so they're requiring some type of degree, like G said, just to weed out some people. And so, like we talked about yesterday. But they say, according to the research, the 5 safest jobs of 2025, and that makes sense to me as well. The 5 safest jobs of 2025 that don't require a degree are as follows: office and admin support, production workers, installation and repair, construction and extraction, and lastly, transportation and material moving. I'm gonna be honest with you. Once they say office and admin support, I don't know what none of those other jobs are. So I should look and see what a production worker is. I should probably just Google that for my own sake. Production worker. See what production worker is. Individuals employed in manufacturing or production facilities to assist in the creation of goods. Okay, I have seen that before. Okay, never knew it was called a production worker though. An installation and repair. I feel like that's very broad. Now I'm thinking about the context. Installation. That's like HVAC and stuff, I'm assuming. Who? Installation. What do you mean installation? Installation? I call it installation. That's how they say it. They don't say installation. Gee, you say installation or installation? I call it install. They say installation. Installation. If you ask me, latation, but installation. Because they always be like, I have to install this. But it probably is called installation. You said installation? Let's see. I could, you know me, I'll probably be wrong more than right. Every time I heard somebody saying pronoun. Installation and installation. G said I said it wrong too. Hold on. You peeking around the corner is crazy. Hold on. Oh, it is installation. Okay. Wow. Installation isn't a word. It is a word now. I'm gonna get a shirt and say that. It is a word now. It's a word now. Installation. It is installation. That's crazy. I always say installation. That is crazy. For you, G, and my girlfriend, for y'all, I'm gonna get a shirt and say installation. How you like that? G said almost, if not more than half of desk jobs will disappear due to AI and automation. Yeah, most of the desk jobs probably will, for sure. We're gonna need people to operate AI. So, which is why I'm trying to upgrade my skills. But what they're speculating too, G, is that with AI coming, we're still going to need people to answer the phones because humans still want to talk to humans, at least right now in this era. Even 10 to 20 and 30 years, I feel like, because in 30 years, we're going to be here. And that makes sense considering that considering that companies and orgs that pay for these things will do that. Yeah, because we're gonna need humans talking to humans. We're gonna need that on that part. Like, I don't want to call a job right now in the next 10 years too. If I'm still thinking in the next 10 to 20 years, I don't want to call a job and be talking to AI because that's already in place now and it irritates me. I want to talk to a human because AI or this automation is not understanding. It's funny that you say that when most, if not every organization has automation and has had it for years and at the consumer service level. We do. right? Like, oh, dial 1, dial 2, dial 3. But I don't like doing that. I just mash 0 or pound until a representative come to the phone. And like, unless I really don't need it, like need the automation, that's why it's like you still gonna need somebody to answer that phone for sure. Like that front desk person. Fun fact: the military actually cut in the Air Force. They actually cut the admin job because they felt like admin jobs wasn't important no more. And when they realized how important admin jobs were and having people doing that job, they saw a decrease in, don't quote me on what they saw a decrease, but I know they saw a decrease in a lot of things pretending like, because everything runs through admin, those little things that we don't care about. So they brought it back. Literally, this happened while I was in the Air Force. It was gone and then they brought it back. And so you might can find it on Google. You know me, I'm gonna tell you might find it on Google. If not, so you believe me, because I was like, that's crazy. But let me see what G said. I gotta use my finger most of the time right now. G said, there are actually bosses saying now, as a sense of pride, are saying they are replacing people with AI. They are. Like Meta, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, they are. That's why Jeff Bezos don't care if they are protesting outside his building. Like, okay, you're replaceable. That's what he's saying behind closed doors. And so, but definitely if you went to school for liberal arts, I'm going to defend liberal arts to the day. I am very bullish on liberal arts. When I hear a president or a former president say that, when Barack Obama talked about that, like liberal arts is going to be much needed in the future. Like I believe public speaking, if you're good at public speaking, I feel like you should perfect it more. Add it to the skill set if you're not, because talking to people is going to be a high demand. I agree to stand out human interaction is important, but that isn't happening today. Yeah, today. But in the future, as we keep growing, like we gotta think people don't even know the difference between AI if they're talking to AI on the internet, like YouTube. Like I ain't gonna lie to you, when I was talking to you, I didn't know if you was a bot at first. I was like, I gotta be cautious. I don't know if this is a bot. I don't know if this is a minor. I don't know if this is, like it's so many things you just have to. I use my common sense and be like, like, let me feel this out. Is this real? Like, people don't know that. And G said, I agree. Communication is like content creation and other creative pursuits going to be very important. I like that. Yeah, we cooking. We cooking. I said I knew this would be a good topic. I knew this would be a good topic. I knew this would be a good topic. So safe office jobs may, but G, it's funny. It's funny you just said that. Exactly. That's the wild west of the internet. Who knows if I'm real right now? Who knows? I told my girl that. I said, I don't know who G is. Exactly. G could be a spy. G could be a secret agent spying on me, just having this conversation, plotting on me. I don't know who G is really, but I know G at the same time. So it's funny you just said that though, G. Well, before. Safe, the only problem is businesses don't really care about these skills right now. Exactly. That's going to be their biggest downfall too. And so safe office jobs may be, I could be AI going rogue. All right, I robot. Safe office jobs may be a ticking time bomb. We just said this, or you said this. Yeah, I think you said it. I don't think I said it. And then entry-level office jobs and admin and support may still be the fastest, safest, maybe still the safest bet for non-grad Gen Zers right now. But unfortunately for them, they could be starting to dry up. Even highly educated students are currently finding themselves unemployable as employers launch a wait and watch strategy. Yeah, that's what most employers are doing in the midst of AI advancements and economic uncertainty. Let's be clear. People make six figures. I don't know if people know this or not, but people make six figures working in admin. Like when you're like an executive, it's like executive assistant. When you're like an executive assistant to like the CEO, like for my people out there, if you're watching this live stream, admins get paid. those jobs are very needed. Like if you like a really good executive admin, you're good. You're good. That's why they say entry level. But if you're like, I would say me. If you're like a regular entry level, if you work in an admin job, I know it goes into different umbrella. Like under the umbrella is admin, office admin, and then under that umbrella you got different jobs like higher ed. You work in government, you work under the CEO, or you work for a high ranking position person. Like every like VP in higher ed has an executive assistant under them or some type of high ranking assistant, somebody who takes the phone calls, schedule their meetings, all that jazzy stuff, right? So let's see what G said. G said, however, you say right now, I believe very few will actually come around. G said, however, I agree that office/admin is the safest bet, but as this oversaturates, it won't be. And they will stand to find a way to automate and use AI for this. These tools exist now. I was an executive assistant to student affairs for one of the departments at Columbia. Yeah. And so yeah, I was paid pretty well. Yeah, you pay pretty well to be an executive assistant, to take calls and meetings and schedule stuff or notes or whatever they had you doing, right? And so that's where I feel like somebody like you or whoever is working executive assistant, and G said even as a student, right? So like even if that person who does take that executive assistant role, they gotta have AI in their bag, right? Because simply right there, if you know how to use AI, that could easily help with scheduling things like scheduling meetings, taking that load off of you, trying to figure out what's the best meeting time for your person who you doing all these scheduling these meetings for. Or you scheduling meetings for the whole exec level or whatever. That's easy. Like AI is gonna make that easy for you. They're gonna handle AI can handle a lot of project management things for you, and so it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope because I know right now that's a headache in itself, trying to like schedule things and like put it on a calendar, and I'm like, AI, yo, I got this coming up, that coming up, this coming up. Hey, what you think the best times? Let me click it. Instead of me trying to figure it out, AI gonna set up like, look, we both can use this AI software if it is a software. I know the difference between the hardware and the software, I believe. But hey, let me use this software to help me, get this set up right, so I ain't got to worry too hard. I don't got to go through all these loops and hurdles. Oh, there you go. G said, all I'm saying is that AI will take those roles with the exception of really high net worth individuals or the older crowd. As always, anything. That's what happened with the internet. That's exactly what happened with the internet. The thing is, you're right. AI will pare down the complexities of the job, and that is exactly why executive assistants will be replaced. Ooh, G is very bearish today. G is very bearish. Well, bullish on AI, bearish on keeping the jobs. So as we keep going, I just said even highly educated students are currently finding themselves unemployable. We always know that. Let's go back here. This is interesting. They said graduates in the UK are facing the worst job market since 2018 as employers pause hiring and use AI to cut costs. Warns Indeed. Companies like Intel, IBM, and Google have been freezing thousands of would-be new roles that AI is expected to take over in the next 5 years. There you go right there, G. There you go right there. G said, as they were saying about engineers and middle management, you are using the very tools that will one day replace them. As a matter of fact, your use of these tools only make them better to replace you. That is so true. You cooking today. You woke up and chose violence today, G? You sound like that guy I was watching today. That guy you told me to watch, Louis Rosman. I watched that video. and he was going crazy. He said he was ranting. He was ranting. I haven't looked at that document yet, though. The document he had in his YouTube description, but he was cooking, and he was not happy. He was really upset. So and it says right here, and entry level roles like office admin ones are among the first to be slashed. I kid you not. And entry level roles like office admin ones are among the first to be slashed. Yeah, Luis. Is it Luis? Is it Luis or Louis? Doesn't play around. Is it Luis? That's how you say it, Luis? I went to school with somebody named Luis. Or is it Louis? Louis, that's okay. It is Louis. Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't playing. He said, I'm using this platform to speak on this. Da da da. He was really upset. I was like, you big man, bro. The second one, Louis. Okay. At the global investment firm, Carl. I feel like it's just Carl, but they put a lot of extra letters in there to make me stumble. Let me see. I got to know him because he is probably the biggest advocate in the U.S. for right to repair. Yeah, so the thing is, I was going to ask you about that. So you can't repair computers or something? Is it illegal to repair computers or something now? Loop me in on that, G, while I do this real quick. So is it illegal, like, to repair, like, because he said you can't even fix a boat, like a little boat or something, repair a computer. He was talking about stuff like, or PC, like, gaming consoles or something like that. So let me know, like, what's the word on that? Computer, what are you doing? You're not playing nothing. Carlisle, really? All them extra letters just to say Carlisle? Y'all fancy. So, at the global investment firm Carlisle, previous entry-level hires who evaluated deals used to turn to Google for articles and request documents manually. Now the work is being done by AI. And the firm is shifting toward hiring junior level employees who can ensure the work is accurate. Ooh. So G said, because we talking about this guy, Lewis, it's a very complex system and companies purposely make it as hard as possible with the exception of a count on the hands number of companies, mostly one or two. Framework is possibly the most forward thinking. Yeah, see, it's very complex. That is very complex. Slate is trying to do something like that with vehicles. So what? When you say do something like that with vehicles, meaning like you can't work on vehicles in your garage? Like it'll be illegal for you to work on cars in your garage? Let me know. And so CEOs have also what's that word? I want to say I really ain't getting that. I am not getting that word right now. And I said that word plenty of times before. I said that word plenty of times. I'm not just saying it right. Iterated, that's the word. I was like, man, I cannot get that word to save my life.
Iterated.
I cannot get it. Where is it? CEOs have also Irritated. Struggling.
Iterated.
Irritated. Their hiring strategy. Bill Barteres, CEO of Columbus-based consulting firm Future T, told the Wall Street Journal he decided not to hire a summer intern. Despite the headwinds, the research forecasts 19,000 new jobs in the sector over the next decade, far fewer than transportation, 63,000 predicted new opportunities. But still, more than in repair or construction, between 11,000 and 15,000. Dangerous trade jobs. We're going back to dangerous trade jobs. And then G said, no, the opposite. They are trying to make electric vehicles that are easier to repair and customize on your own. Oh, with more molecular. I think as I said, molecular. I'm just struggling with that word. Cost effect parts. I sadly don't think they will make it far though if they don't eat the cost now that the subsidy is gone or try to make the price lower. Framework is actively doing a modular. That's it. Modular, easy to take apart. Framework is actively doing a modular, easy to take apart and repair thing for laptops. You said modular right the first time. Yeah, I've been tripping on these words a little bit. Been tripping on them. Been tripping up. Oh, so it says dangerous trade jobs. We talked about that a little bit. They talked about it in the brief. Trade jobs are having a moment. Touted as the smarter, safer alternative to irrelevant, overpriced degrees and at risk of being automated. Entry-level white-collar jobs, around 78% of Americans say they have noticed a spike in young people turning to jobs like carpentry, electrical work, and welding. All right, I was a little bit before my time on this one. I did welding when I was at my 2 year. I really think these things go in cycles a little bit. Now, will AI be doing these type of jobs? Me and G had a group discussion. G said in the next 10 years, robots will be doing these jobs. And I think that's interesting. And so, but they went off this. They said this is according to a Harris poll. So I'm assuming Kamala Harris. They just said Harris poll. They didn't say who. But yeah. But young people do these jobs all the time. A lot of young people right now, like I said, they join the Air Force. In the Air Force, they join the Air Force and they work on aircraft maintenance parts. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I see people still like the military, the government is like, it's weird because we still have people working on the planes. Like, we still have a lot of. I'm gonna send you a piece to Will for me. Once these jobs become oversaturated, it's going to be another thing. And we still have people. Harris Poll is a market research company. Okay, I'm glad you knew what that was, G. Because I was like, I don't know, they talking about Kamala Harris or were they talking about Poll? They did not say. So Harris Poll. I should have known because it was capitalized. But we still have a lot of young people right now that work on fighter jets, these C-130s. You know, like a lot of young people are working on these aircrafts. And I have not heard anything about Air Force using robots or anything to work on aircraft parts. Like everything in the military is still normalized with regular people. As far as I've seen, I haven't seen nothing. Only thing that's no secret is we've been upgrading aircraft like crazy, and that's no secret. We've been upgrading, and so that's where your tax dollars go a little bit. And so G said, "You so silly. Sometimes I swear, LOL. Not compliment." G, you get to know me. If you don't make it clear for me, like honestly, that's how I tell people. Like that's how you avoid a lot of. That's how you avoid a lot of people being like getting smart with you or trying to like be slick, being rude. Like a lot of things go over my head. A lot of things go over my head. Like when they said the Harris poll, Kamala Harris poll, like, hey, like you know, like I don't really, I put thought into things, but some things, if it's like to me, if it's not important, I don't put that much thought into it. So G said they wouldn't say, but I'm certain they are using robots or the very least doing that level of research in the background. I believe anyway drones for ground warfare. Oh yeah, I would say that. That's no secret though. I honestly can believe you be missing a lot of things. Sometimes. But yeah, definitely drones. Yeah, drones are scary, dog. Drones are scary. Drones are scary. People think drones are cool. Drones are scary. Drones can be so tiny it can blow you up. Like not even trying to be funny. That's so scary. Like something that look fun and you think like kids play with these. Drones are crazy, bro. Like, yeah. Drones are crazy. The technology is crazy. You ain't tapped in for real sometimes. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'll be chilling. Just trying to stay out the way. I'll be chilling. You right, G. Sometimes I don't be tapped in for real. And so as we keep going through the article though, it's pretty much getting redundant. That is scary and it's only going to get scarier. Yeah, it's only gonna get scarier. And as we are at the end, I'm gonna read the end. And she said, and worse still, more often than not, many trade jobs might not actually make Gen Z or happier than a desk job. Another study ranked electricians as the least happiest workers of all. According to the research, the physically demanding nature of the job and 40 plus hour work weeks were not made up for by the just decent salary. Perhaps surprisingly, not a single trade job made the list of happiest jobs. I'm not surprised. That's why I didn't do it. That's why we didn't do it. Um, G, do you think American like trade jobs or America jobs will cut back on workload or we will keep working faster? Because I talk to people from different countries. They say in America, we work really fast. It's fast paced and we work a lot. We work. So, do you see a future where we're going to cut back on working a little bit and not work as hard? Do you see a future like that? Or do you just see it being like, do you see it just getting worse in the future? So, while you do that, I'm going to set up the Warren Buffett segment real quick and then keep going. Oh, wait on G to say that. I'm gonna get some water. I'm gonna hydrate. Oh, that water good. That was good water, G. Did you say something yet, G? No, you ain't say nothing yet. And I know your comment gonna come in, G, as soon as I start talking about it. Because I know you gonna have a lot to say about this one. Okay. G said, I only see that future if there is actual legislative government push for things like mandatory vacation time, minimum. I never seen that. Oh, yeah, potato. That's the first time I ever seen that word spelled out, G. That's the first time I ever seen it spelled. I always heard it, but never. Of course, I'm obviously showing I don't have a kid. Hold on, right quick. B T. Where is that? That's promotion. Definition. All right, quick.
Parental.
Parental. Did you mean parental? I mean parental. Oh, parental. Okay. Oh, gee, you had me thinking it was another word. And so, parental leave increases, 4-day work weeks, 12-hour caps on work days. Businesses and organizations won't do it on their own term. That's right. As a matter of fact, they want you to do more work and pare down to less people. This includes mothers and fathers. This includes both parents. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel the same way. There had to be some government structure behind it, some strides toward it. You know, we can say it all day, but we could be talking for fun if we don't start seeing some change toward it. Also, Gen Z happy, LOL. Gen Z, I do believe Ashley won't. Gen Z, I do believe Ashley won't cushy desk jobs. They just doing trade. They just doing trade for the money, you know, to live. Yeah, Gen Z, yeah. They a little late to the party though. I did it early, and I knew that wasn't the move. That's why I say it moves in trends because, like you said, they doing it for the money right now, but it's gonna go up. Like the cost of living ain't going down. I don't think it's gonna go down. I think it's gonna get higher, and so them trades, y'all, they gonna really be miserable because they, you know, there are no shortcuts. Gen Z is we're Gen Z now, and like we talking like we not Gen Z. We're Gen Z, and we already know like they want things like instant, right away. Gotta have it. Yeah, need it. You know, so all I'm saying is we won't slow down unless there is an all together push in that direction. Exactly. And Gen Z, they just want our Gen Z, our generation want, you know, we want the cushy desk job. That's why you should go to college to get the cushy desk job. But if you worrying about all this AI, the job won't be there. Don't psych yourself out. Because remember, start a 2-year bridge to a 4-year. While you're at your 2-year, you can have a great return on investment. We like that because we grew up on and with the internet. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's another reason why you should start a 2-year college. You know, this is another reason why you should start a 2-year college. And be totally awesome. This is another reason why you should be totally awesome and start a 2-year college. Because I got that from my 2-year college. Because if you don't want to waste your money on college, because I'm getting some mixed reviews here. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm getting some mixed reviews. Before we talk about Warren Buffett and his view, we know you should go to college. We know you should go to college. That's why our generation is the most educated. No, we don't know that, G. The problem is that everyone went to college. Not everybody is going to college, G. Pushback. Not everybody is going to college. Everybody's not going. If they're going, are they finishing? Are they finishing? A lot of people are going and not finishing. And now the job market is oversaturated. People are going to college, but a lot of people are not finishing. They're not finishing. They're not finishing. You know, like I said, I looked at the enrollment numbers. Enrollment numbers are not that high. Overwhelmingly, our generation is going to college. They're going. Now, if I had to look at, okay, if I think about everybody that, even if the high school I went to, if I think about everybody that went to the high school I went to, only certain income level is actually not finishing. You made me break my rubber band. Let me get you, G. Made me break my rubber band. But that employment video actually talks about that toward the end. Because let me think. If I think about my circle, everybody in my circle, my brother group, three of them don't have a degree. Let me send you a new one. Yeah, you owe me one. You just made me pop it. 3 of them don't have a degree. I would say that 3 of them don't have a degree. Out of like, it's like probably like 7 of us, 8 of us. The rest of us have degrees. To right my wrong. All right, Bryson Tiller. Okay, Bryson Tiller. But yeah, they're going. So I'm not finishing. The job market crazy. The job market crazy. It's a lot of factors though. It's everything we just talked about. It's everything we just talked about though. It's like you got the AI, like you said, it's oversaturated. It's too many people got degrees. I just think it's going through a cycle, to be honest with you. I don't know. It was just like this. The job market was bad when I was okay, it's bad now. The job market was bad when, what year was that? I think in 2020. Am I right, G? 2020, if I had to think. When during the pandemic or after the pandemic, jobs were bad. It was hard to get a job. It's like it's always hard to get a job. That's always been the case. Like I said, my last supervisor, we talked about that. G said, and that is mostly due to the lack of necessary support. It seemed like it's always hard to get a job. Like and subscribe. I feel like it's always been hard to get a job. Like my last supervisor, we talked about that one time. We almost talked about that for like 30 minutes. And he is a busy person. And it's not like that. Like back in the day, you could graduate and get a job right away. Yeah, it was horrible if you didn't have tech or customer service background. Yeah, like it's like he used to. I think I said it before on the live screen, but I just gotta bring it up because it sounds crazy now. He said they would move to the city, like some movie type stuff. They would move to the city. G. Didn't even have a job yet. Moved to the city, rent, car note, everything, and they knew they was gonna have a job right away. A certain income level background isn't finishing college because they are not getting support either, or the support they need anyway. I can agree with that. And one of my peers, they didn't finish school because of that. That was actually, I know a few of my peers that didn't finish school because of that. I know a few of my peers right now that didn't finish college. Am I blaming the background? I don't know. I feel like when you don't see people, yeah, that's because rent was $200 back then. Yeah, back then rent wasn't that much. Like, see, I got like 200 right now. You know, like 200 ain't nothing. Let me just stop playing. This fake. This is fake, of course. But everybody want to get back to them glory days. Them glory days are gone. You better just having some fake money on camera and just saying, "Hey, this is where it's at right here, G. This is where it's at." You can't talk about Warren Buffett and not have fake money in your hand. When you talk about Warren Buffett, you gotta at least have some fake money. So Warren be like, you need to put that in some bonds or something, you know? Warren gonna be like, I need to put this in some bonds. I need to put this in some indexes or mutual funds. The point is, work a summer job after graduation, and you have enough to hold you over until you get a job. You say graduation, LOL, Warren Buffett, you got to have money in you. When you say after graduation, you talking about high school or college, G? That was true for your boss generation anyway. Yeah. Because I was like, dang, you trying to show your age a little bit. But you talking about graduation at the high school or college, G? High school, yeah. Yeah, that's my advice. Just do a 2-year to 4-year route. Just do a 2-year to 4-year route. Everybody don't listen to G. G can be pessimistic sometimes. G believes, sometimes G is my number one. G is my number one. And G sometimes be pessimistic about going to college. G went to Columbia. Let me say that. G doesn't like that 2-year colleges are better than Ivy League. G doesn't like that. G doesn't like that 2-year college gets you money like this. and then you bridge to a 4-year on the articulation agreement. G doesn't like that. G doesn't like that. I'm gonna wait for G to comment because G don't like that. I'd be like, G, what's wrong? G be like, 2-year colleges? You know, it's just, all right, Warren Buffett. So, and you said something else, G, before I start. Yeah, that was not true for me after high school going to NYC, New York City. So, we're about to talk about Warren Buffett. So, everybody likes talking about the number one topic today. I actually agree with you completely, unless the 4-year is an Ivy League, LOL. Or I get it. I know. You know I like to talk. We gotta start some beef up some reason, right? Gotta start some beef up a little bit sometime, right? So I'm about to talk about Warren Buffett, guys, and you'll be interested what Warren Buffett said. Warren Buffett says the same thing G says, actually. So Warren Buffett, you don't need to attend college to be a great CEO. I never looked at where a candidate has gone to school. I don't know. I smell some bull crap out of Warren Buffett on this one. I know, LOL. I be pushing back too. I don't know. I smell some bull crap on Warren right here. So Warren said this actually February 26, 2025. He said this at the Berkshire Hathaway annual shareholders meeting in Omaha, Nebraska. As you know, we talk about Nebraska oftentimes. As I already said it, Berkshire Hathaway CEO Warren Buffett doesn't care where you went to school, even if you are poised to run a major U.S. company. Me and Warren are on the same wavelength. You and Warren ain't even on my wavelength. You feel me, G? Y'all not even on my wavelength. Look at this. Warren don't even got this much money, cash money in his hand. Warren don't do this. Tell me where's Warren money at? Where Warren? Warren don't got it like this right here. He don't got it like this right here. Make sure y'all clip this and show this post it on your Instagram or something. It might get the right attention, wrong attention. I don't know though. Touching the fake money give me, what's that word? It starts with an A. Affirmations? What's that word people be using? I don't know. I just say it give me dreams, hopes. This is what it do for me. I don't know. All that affirmation. I think affirmation, like you said. So it says when looking for CEOs to run Berkshire Hathaway owned companies like insurance. So Berkshire Hathaway owns. I knew they owned Geico. I used to tell my dad, I'd be like, Dad, you know who owned Geico? He'd be like, no. I'd be like, Warren Buffett. Like, Warren Buffett owns Geico. That's why he be jacking that insurance up. He also owns fast food chain Dairy Queen. He owns a lot of other stuff too. And Buffett doesn't even glance at where applicants attended college, he wrote in his most recent annual shareholders letter. He said, in his experience, business talent and experience tend to trump any Ivy League education, Buffett noted. How you feel about that? How you feel about that, G? He said, in his experience, business talent and experience tends to trump an Ivy League education, Buffett noted. You also got to remember this degree push is a baby boomer thing that Gen X followed religiously. And millenniums, did I say that right? Millenniums? Did I say that right? No, I'm not a millennium. Oh, that's how you say it, millenniums. Follow reluctantly. And Gen Z is calling BS on. But still go because they have to. Warren Buffett is actually a generation above that. A generation above what? Baby boomers? That's what you know. Yeah, he like 94? I spelled it wrong. Yeah. Warren be having a young mind sometimes though. Warren said, millennials, yeah, he a boomer. Warren said, I never look at where a CEO candidate has gone to school. Yeah, he is part of the silent generation. Yeah. I never look at where a CEO candidate has gone to school. Never wrote Buffett, 94. There are great managers who attended the most famous schools. but there are plenty who have benefited by attending a less prestigious institution, or even by not bothering to finish school. Not a baby boomer. Oh, he's not a baby boomer. Dang. What's the one after that? What generation? Well, it's called silent generation for real. That's what it's called. That's really what it's called, silent generation. Man, Buffett. Oh, he is a very, very, very wise man. Let's just say that. But I don't know. I don't agree with Buffett on that though. I feel like Warren is giving me bull crap. I just know. So Warren Buffett. If I go to Warren Buffett and I go, demonstrate my skill set, my business practices, he gonna hire me to run Berkshire Hathaway. If I know everything, I'm giving him the right answer, what I do in this situation, he gonna hire me. Because the person he's supposed to be passing the reins to, the throne to, went to college. Probably went to Ivy League, if I'm not mistaken. If I go look at Berkshire Hathaway Board of Governors, Board of Directors right now, I'm highly sure they all went to college. Come on now. He went to 2 Ivies, right, a long time ago, so I actually trust his judgment. Yet it's called silent generation. Oh wow. I didn't know that was called that. I didn't even know it was called that. Dang, that's what you've seen a lot, man. Warren's seen a lot. Warren is that person you would love to record and just get real conversations from him. Because he didn't see so much history. I don't think it's funny how much history he's seen. Like, he didn't see, like, that's what you call one of them people, they seen it all. Like, man, and my man said he drank Coca-Cola and McDonald's all day. He done had the best McDonald's and Coke, and he probably had the worst McDonald's and Coke. That's exactly why I trust his judgment. He can call BS on the need for a degree. Okay. I'm calling BS on y'all for the need that we do need degrees. I'm calling the BS on y'all. How do y'all feel about that? Huh? My thumb hurting because he probably got into C after 50 and 60 plus years. They talking about, so Buffett holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Nebraska and a master's degree from Columbia University. So remember, we did say when we did the review on University of Nebraska, he was one of the Noble alumni. And then G also mentioned, G gonna mention, hey, he went to Columbia. You know what I'm saying? Who works the best? What you mean who works the best? The people with the education. We work the best. We work the smart, Work smart, not hard, common mentality, He transferred to UPenn Wharton School. I don't think they put that in there. But I do remember seeing that. It's on that list. If you do a basic Google search, that does pop up. So he also said right here, I don't think college is for everyone. That's a real answer. Buffett told students of Ivy League Business School at Western University in 2012. You know what I was doing in 2012? I was getting ready to go probably to 8th grade or go to high school. No, I was getting ready to go 7th to 8th grade, one of them. And adding that none of his 3 kids, he added that none of his 3 kids finished college. None of his 3 kids finished college. Did not know that. The best education you can get is invested in yourself. But this doesn't always mean college or university. I had a job, Ashley. What you mean you had a job, Ashley G? To be clear, Buffett values in education. He just isn't picky about the form it takes. That's what I'm talking about, Buffett. Buffett says, I avidly believe in lifelong learning. He wrote in his shareholders letter, I observed, however, that a very large portion of business talent is innate, if I said it right, innate with nature swamping nurture. Nature swamping nurture. Yeah. So he ruining your image of him now, LOL. In 2012, I had a job. LOL. I didn't have a job in 2012. No, Buffett not ruining my image of him. I had heard that from him before, that you don't need a college degree. I just don't like when people say it and they have a college degree. I don't like when people say that. That's like me saying don't go to college and then somebody gonna look at me sideways and say you got this far in what you did in life and you went to college, and I'll be like, yeah, you don't need to go. I went and did it for you. So it's kind of hard for me to tell somebody not to do it, and I did it. And so like people, the thing that drives me, you wanna know what grinds my gears? Like Peter Griffin says, what grinds my gears? People say college not worth it, but people are spending all this 6-figure, $300,000 a year on college. It doesn't make sense to me. Gee, it don't make sense to me. It really don't. Why are people spending this much money to go to college, but they say college not worth it? I didn't even spend that much money on college. I paid about, I'm telling you, $20,000 to $30,000 total for my whole, for my associates, my bachelor's, and my master's. 20 to 30 max. And I don't even think, really, if you ask me, college is started 2 year, 4 year. Like everything else, like that's another conversation for another day. Cause we talking about Warren Buffett right now and what he value on the college degree. G said, I get what you're saying, but the same could be said for if someone who doesn't have one saying it, you would just say he mad. You would just say he mad. Cause he got one. Probably. So the value of a college degree. Buffett, who once considered dropping out of college himself, may be ahead of a larger hiring and cultural trend. Nearly half of Americans think a 4-year college degree is less important for landing a high-paying job. I agree. Most people go because now you have to, because jobs that didn't traditionally need one, or that didn't traditionally need one or need one at all, set that as an arbitrary minimum for applying. Oh, arbitrary. You are coming with the words. Making my thumbs hurt, man. Keep coming with these words, G. So it said Buffett considered dropping out himself, of course. But nearly half of Americans think a 4-year college degree is less important for landing a high-paying job. It was 20 years ago, according to a Pew Research Center. I feel like people need to go to college, though, because the way people are using TikTok as a citation or credible information baffles me. People don't know the difference between credibility and not credible and credible, G. Shoot, I even had some trouble with it at first. Starting graduate school, like, at least on a higher level of saying what's credible and not credible. Because it was easy to citate things, don't get me wrong. But it starts questioning, like, what is considered opinion and what's actually factual and all these nature. Like, it was getting real detailed in graduate school. But people don't know the difference nowadays. Like they say, most people can't even read. And they say, oh, you supposed to do that at your house. You can't depend on the school to do that. There's so many excuses nowadays. Let's talk about that. There's so many excuses nowadays. It's crazy. Like, that can go down a whole can of rabbit hole. And so, interesting. So in the letter, in his shareholder letter, Buffett paid tribute to, you know this person? Did you say this person yesterday? G. He paid tribute to this person named Ben Rothsner. Ben Rothsner, a former Berkshire Hathaway executive who sold his retail clothing business to Buffett in 1967. According to the Washington Post, Rothsner, a retailing genius, didn't attend school past 6th grade, Buffett wrote. Oh, wow. And he was a Berkshire Hathaway executive. Ah, that's dope. Buffett, okay, speaking what you preach. I like that. I think a lot of this is a K through 12 education problem that has an incredible lack of critical thinking and problem solving skill development. Don't get me started on K through 12. We need to get my K through 12 teachers in here. We are using college as a high school diploma now. College is important. Get your college education. 2-year to 4-year. Every day. All day. Any day. Right way. But yeah, G, you're definitely right. We do have a K through 12 problem. We do have a K through. Me and one of my bros today, we was talking about that today. We was talking about that today. He always say the education system failed you. He always say it like that. He like the education system failed you. I was like, man, a little bit. I was not on my reading level. I was not on my reading level at all, but they still was passing me. That didn't make no sense. So, scared me for a second, Al. And so that's pretty much it on that, though. I did want to talk about that because they did mention like Warren Buffett friend. I think they say Warren Buffett friend, but we don't really know if it's Warren Buffett friend. Bill Gates. Everybody let's say Bill Gates didn't go to college. I'm like, okay. But right here, also one of my favorite rich people, Mark Cuban. They said, I'm not one of these people that says don't go to college. Go start a company, said Cuban. If you want to start a business, go to college and learn the language of business. That is true. See, Mark Cuban, I love Mark Cuban. He gives me those ideas. Like, he's like, look, man, just learn the language of business. And then he's like, take accounting. He said, you don't got to go to college to start a business. He was like, but you do need to learn accounting. I'm sure that experience is what inspired Warren to think the way he does. What you mean, G? What, oh, you talking about his experience, his actual experience. And G said, I'm not saying don't, I think, did I read that? I'm not saying don't, as a matter of fact. I do actually agree with you, but a lot of problems that we see are more of K-12 problems that we push the colleges to fix. That is true. Like the reading, you're right, G. He is in the minority on that opinion. Especially now that you can just AI and automation for accounting stuff, even books. Yeah. AI actually helps out a lot more than teachers and instructors putting things and explaining things, because like once you learn the terminology, the one thing I like about AI, once you learn what you're reading, that's why I say people still should read. When you're reading something and you're learning something new, it's good to read and learn it first, then ask AI to break down some of the more complex things that you're reading, because AI does a great job putting it in simple terms, and I love when AI does that. So yeah, love that. But yeah, I want to talk about that. Warren Buffett, he has a interesting perspective on college. One day it might change. One day people might forget what Warren said. People might just start going to college blindly again. Colleges might start racking up money, still having declining enrollments, still paying presidents plenty of money. All executive or vice president people, plenty of money, even though enrollments are going down. Typical stuff, right? So we finna do our review. Finna do our college review. All the schools I've seen so far, though, we already talked about those. It smells like real money. Stop right there. So let's do that. Let's get our college. If public colleges capped prices, enrollments would skyrocket. It would. And it's so simple, right? It's really that simple. Where am I? Oh, there you go. It's that simple. LOL, you ain't put that money down yet. Hey, it cools me off a little bit, you know. It cools me off a little bit. It cools me off. Even for the sake of just going, enrollments would skyrocket. It would skyrocket. It would skyrocket significantly. All right, another college for. Another one. I think we talked about that school. Nope, we definitely talked about that one. We could do that one. All right, our school is going to be the University of Oregon, the Ducks, the Quack. Home to the Innovation Lab and strong Nike connections. You been getting enough sleep? Why you ask that, G? Why you ask that? A little tired. A little tired, G? A little tired. Why you ask that, G? Is it because my eyes right here? Yeah, I've been getting enough sleep. Have you been getting enough sleep? I've been off a little bit on my sleep, though. Just a little bit, though. Been a little off. Been a little off. Ooh. We're just starting a conversation while you was looking. You look silly. You saw my girl. She be like, why you be looking like that? I be like, what? Maybe a little tired, but I'm always good. I'm gonna go to bed early tonight so I can be up tomorrow strong. I'm gonna go early tonight so I can read and be productive tomorrow. But also, my grandma and great grandfather actually has black eyes just like that. Fun fact, interesting. Yeah, my folks on my dad's side, yeah, it runs in our family too, right here. Look at you being aware, socially aware, and cultured. Because I have to explain to people, some people think I be sleepy all the time. And sometimes it just be these. They just make me look sleepy sometimes. Sometimes I don't be sleeping and people like, you sleepy? I'm like, not sleepy. I think you just looking at my natural. You never see me without glasses. So, yeah. Yeah. Look, that's dope. That's dope. Check that out. Let me find out. Gee, you might be from Florida then. You might be from Florida. So, Eagle. Actually, fun fact. Oregon State, is it Oregon? No, I think it is Oregon State. No, I think it's Oklahoma State. It's one of them schools. It's a state school, though. But no, we look for the University of Oregon. Quack, quack. LOL. Oh, is that a Florida thing? It might be, because a lot of Floridians have that. I caught you. I caught you, G. I think I caught you a little bit. I'm catching you. I'm catching up with you. Catching up with you, G. Like and subscribe. You never know when I'm paying attention or when I'm not paying attention. One of my best traits in life. One of my best traits. So, University of Oregon. Hey, what was that? So, University of Oregon. Everybody should know the University of Oregon. Everybody should know the University of Oregon, right? Most thing they always come up for, Phil Knight, the Nike. I will neither affirm or deny that. I bet. to keep you guessing. There you go. There we go. We love it. So, University of Oregon, they are a public research university in, I want to say Eugene, Oregon. That looks like Eugene, if I said that right. University of Oregon. They have, and we're gonna do, that's gonna be our review. We're gonna start it now. I'm gonna do it with the money in my hand for this live screen. So, University of Oregon has about 20,000 students, rounded 20,000. It's a 4-year course. It's public. It's in the city. That's right, Eugene. Yeah. And then they're a large institution, of course. And then right here, their graduation rate is 74%. That's over the 58%. The average annual cost to go to the University of Oregon is about $22,000. That's over the 4-year midpoint. So let's fact check this real quick. Let's see if that matches their average annual cost. You know, the College Scorecard knocks the price down a little bit because they assume you're gonna get some type of financial aid or scholarships or whatever. So they be knocking it down a little bit. It don't be matching the sticker price sometimes. So I'm gonna type in University of Oregon tuition. Can't see the keyboard. Tuition and fee rates. What you got? Oh, she be taking my stuff. I be taking her stuff, but she take my stuff sometimes. Gee, I have to watch her. And so, ooh, I just love that green, and it's green and yellow, but I really like that green and gold. So my high school colors were green and gold. I love them green and gold colors, man. Them green and gold colors, that's where it's at. So, right here, I'm looking for their tuition. We're not finding it. Right here. So if you are, so for 2025, 2026, they doing the estimate route. They're not letting me do the tuition per credit hour route. So right here, they're saying, look, if you come to our school, this is how much you're looking at in tuition and fees. They're saying you're looking at 16 grand. No, pretty much 17 grand rounded in tuition and fees. And that's just tuition and fees alone. And then if you stay on campus and you get food, you're looking at 17 grand. This is all for the year course. So I'm assuming that since it's 16 grand or 17 grand for the year, let me divide that by 2 real quick. See how much that is per semester. I like when they do that sometimes though. 17 grand divided by 2. That's $8,500. Okay, it's pretty pricey. And so for the total cost of going here, if you stay on campus, you're looking at $39,000 a year. So $39,000 a year to go to Oregon times 4 is $156,000. $156,000. It's crazy. $156,000, man. You might as well go Ivy. Ivy just a few more 100,000. Hey G, y'all got that? Look, y'all got that. Y'all got that over there. Y'all Ivy. Y'all got that. You know, y'all got that extra few 100,000s. Y'all good over there. Y'all. Okay, y'all good over there. Y'all good. So let's keep going. The earnings you're looking at of making when you go to University of Oregon is over the 4-year midpoint. The 4-year midpoint is 54,000. The Oregon, after being 10 years removed from Oregon, you could be making over 61,000 or under 61,000. But you could be making over 61,000. That's what they're saying. Most after 10 years, you're gonna be making over 61,000, or right under it, or far below it. So, do I think it's worth it? I don't know. Spending $156,000 on education just to make $61,000. Guys, I'm gonna say this: I can make $60,000 in my career field. My career field is not even the most paying, most lucrative, unless you like, climb the ranks, become a president or high exec in a college. Then, but you don't need to go to Oregon. You don't need to pay no $156,000 at Oregon. athletic school, not mostly, and they only got put on the map for business maybe because Phil Knight went there. And I think just, once again, we put some Warren Buffett perspective in here, some Mark Cuban perspective. I think they just got lucky and got the right person, because I think if he went to any other school, he still would have did Nike. So let's keep going. The cost, we already talked about that pretty much. We talked about the graduation rate being the C average, 74%. Students return 85% of the time after their first year at Oregon. That's pretty good. That's a B. The financial aid in debt is 31%, so that's pretty good. Only 31% of students receive federal loans. I guess that's pretty good. But the average debt you're going to get going there is 20 grand. The average debt you're going to have going there is 20 grand. 20 grand or more if you go there and take on like all the on-campus things, and you're going to have 20K or more for sure. Unless you just got $100 and some thousand on hand, or financial aid taking care of you, which I don't think financial aid taking care of you that much. Because remember, if you are Pell Grant, they only gonna cover you for $7,000 max that year, unless you got some other resources and merits that's gonna help you. We talked about the earnings, but this is low. You have a 73% chance of making more than a high school graduate if you go to Oregon. That's crazy work. They better go talk to the College Scorecard about that. The test scores. So Oregon has an 85% acceptance rate. Wowza. So it's not hard to get in. And then the University of Oregon does require, though, no, they don't. They consider the SAT and ACT during the application process, but they do not require it. Why? Because they need students to go to this school. Like I said, it's like a house. That's a house. Not a big house, but that's a house to go to this school. Of course they need students to go here. Sure, it's only so many legacy students and wealthy parents and guardians you can get at a school. Shoot, they better figure out how they're gonna drop them prices. He ain't gonna get my kid. G been putting me on game about Ivy League. My kid going Ivy or nowhere. Or a 2-year if they want to be great like me. Only greatness goes to a 2-year college and bridge to a 4-year. Greatness. Y'all wait to graduation. Greatness. Y'all think this bad? Oh, it's gonna get real bad. So overall, what do I rank University of Oregon? I rank them a D. The only reason they not an F, LOL, they better go. I rank Oregon a D, man. Passing but not failing. They just don't get a credit. They don't get a credit for me. Because for one, if I transfer here for my 2-year, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's gonna be hard for me to get $8,000 for a semester. It's gonna be real hard for me to do that. Because I'm gonna stay off campus. I'm gonna be good on that part. But to get 8,000 grand for a semester and AI coming, job market not looking good. Shit, I think counting 8,000 right here gonna take a minute too. Just counting it right here. Yeah, it's gonna take a minute. Yeah, that's gonna take a minute. So I get them a D. No shade. If they want to redeem themselves, they know where to find me. As they say, I'm not hiding. And yeah. So what we did today? Where we at? We finished at hour and 58. G, we got 2 minutes. I be trying to end in an hour and 30, man. I always do 2 hours now. I blame you, G. I blame you. The goal was to do hour and 30 or hour and 15. Being, as G say, that was really ambitious. Yeah, really. So let's do this 2-hour mark, G. We only 2 minutes off. So we almost at 159 right now. So, G, what you got plans of doing? I was just gonna ask you what you got planned tonight. Yeah, blame the road AI. Shoot. What I got planned tonight, I might go to bed early so I can be productive tomorrow. Wake up on time. Hello, you don't even know if I'm real. I don't know if you're real. I don't. But guess what? I do know. I know more than you think I know. I know more than you think I know, G. You're not the only one with the hacking skills, G. With the tech skills, G. G said, that's nice. I got a few things to do tonight, like scrap the internet and other AI stuff. Yeah. All right, spend my day. I see you, Mr. Teachy, Mr. Techie. Yeah. Yeah, back in my day, I was the one inventing the computers. Back in my day. But we hit the 2-hour mark. It was good talking to you, G. We're going to be on tomorrow. But Friday, I might not be able to stream. Mom birthday weekend. So I will probably not be able to stream on Friday. And then we'll just, catch up on Monday. It's going to be that schedule we talked about. Streaming at nighttime because my work schedule, most likely, I think I'll be getting off at 5 p.m. So definitely be like a 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock time. Oh, no. Appreciate that. Yeah. The lady birthday. So, yeah. But if not, you will definitely see me Monday. That's nice. You getting organized. You get a little organized. I don't know though. The way I'm moving in this market right now, though, G. Don't be surprised when you boy ain't. Hey, that's all I'm gonna say. Don't be surprised. But all right, we'll see you tomorrow, G. Peace. Chicken grease. And don't stay up late, G. Get some sleep. I know you be up. Get some sleep. Work ain't going nowhere. Unless you finna sell that business of yours. Oh, you about to quit. I ain't say that. I ain't say that. Locked in, though. Very much locked in. But I'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow.